Osteoporosis is often called the silent thief of bone health. Why? Because it weakens your bones slowly, quietly, and often without any clear signs until a sudden fracture changes everything. Imagine bending down to pick something up and feeling your wrist snap, or coughing and realizing you've cracked a rib. For millions of older adults, this isn't just imagination, it's daily reality. Now, here's what makes it tricky. Osteoporosis doesn't strike overnight. It builds up over years, sometimes decades, until bones become fragile enough to break from the smallest pressure. And yet, many people don't even know they have it until that first painful break. That's what makes it so dangerous. But there's good news. When we understand what drives osteoporosis, its causes, its early symptoms, and the risk factors, we can take steps to protect ourselves and stay stronger for longer. Think of it as switching on the lights in a dark room. Suddenly you see the obstacles you didn't know were there. In today's video, we'll walk through everything you need to know about osteoporosis in a clear, simple way. First, we'll look at the causes, from genetics to lifestyle choices. Then, we'll uncover the subtle signs and symptoms most people overlook. And finally, we'll explore the key risk factors you absolutely need to be aware of so you can spot danger early and take action. Stay with me, because what you learn today could literally prevent a fracture tomorrow. Why do our bones become weaker as we grow older? Many people think it's simply because of age. But osteoporosis isn't an unavoidable part of getting older. It develops for very specific reasons, and those reasons often build up quietly over the years. Inside your body, bone is constantly being renewed. Old bone is broken down, and new bone is created to replace it. In youth, this cycle is in our favor. We make more bone than we lose, so our skeleton grows stronger. But after about age 30, that balance begins to tip. Slowly, the body starts breaking down more bone than it rebuilds. Year after year, this gap widens, and if nothing is done, the skeleton becomes fragile. One of the biggest drivers of this shift is hormones. For women, the drop in estrogen that comes with menopause acts almost like a switch, accelerating bone loss. For men, the process is usually slower, tied to the gradual decline in testosterone. Genetics also matter more than most people realize. If your mother or father had osteoporosis or suffered a hip fracture later in life, your own risk is naturally higher. Nutrition is another powerful piece of the puzzle. Bones are like living banks that need deposits of calcium and vitamin D to stay strong. Without enough of these nutrients, withdrawals happen faster than deposits, and the bone bank empties out over time. The way we live also matters. Smoking and heavy drinking quietly damage the cells that build bone, while a sedentary lifestyle deprives bones of the stress they need to stay dense. Bones respond to movement. When you walk, lift, or stretch, they grow stronger. Without that stimulation, they begin to thin out. Think of your skeleton like a savings account. In your younger years, the account grows because you're putting in more than you take out. But once midlife hits, withdrawals often overtake deposits. Hormonal changes, family history, diet, and lifestyle all determine how fast that account runs dry. Here's the encouraging truth. Not every cause is outside your control. While you can't rewind the clock or rewrite your genetics, you can shape your nutrition, your habits, and your activity levels. Even small changes, adding more calcium-rich foods, stepping outside for natural vitamin D, or taking short daily walks can begin to tip the balance back in your favor. And if hormonal shifts are playing a role, your doctor may help you manage that risk too. Understanding these causes isn't just science, it's a way of reclaiming power. Instead of waiting for a fracture to reveal the damage, you can make choices today that slow bone loss and protect your independence tomorrow. So as you listen, ask yourself, am I feeding my bones the nutrients they need? Am I moving enough to keep them strong? Am I avoiding habits that quietly eat away at them? These reflections are the first step toward prevention. And now that we've uncovered why osteoporosis develops, the next question becomes even more urgent. If it grows silently inside the body, what warning signs can you look for before it's too late? That's exactly what we'll explore in the next section. Osteoporosis is tricky because it sneaks in without warning. You don't wake up one morning with clear pain or swelling. Instead, it develops silently, year after year, until one small accident reveals the truth. That's why it's often called the silent disease. Take Margaret, for example, a 65-year-old grandmother. She always thought of herself as fairly healthy. One day, while reaching up to get a bowl from the top shelf, she felt a sudden sharp pain in her back. Later, she noticed her clothes didn't fit quite the same, and her daughter pointed out that she seemed a little shorter. Margaret laughed it off, saying, "I must be shrinking with age." In reality, her spine was compressing from tiny fractures she didn't even know she had. This is how osteoporosis often reveals itself. The first signs can be subtle: a slow loss of height, a stooped posture, or back pain that lingers longer than normal. Many people mistake these changes for arthritis or simply getting old, when in fact, their bones are quietly weakening. Fragility is another clue. Think of John, age 70. He tripped on the carpet and instinctively put out his hand to break the fall. To his surprise, his wrist fractured. The fall wasn't serious, but his bones were already too brittle to withstand the impact. For some, even a strong cough or bending over to lift a bag of groceries can cause sudden pain or fractures. The sad truth is that many dismiss these signs. A lost inch of height, normal aging, persistent back pain, I've been gardening too much, a broken bone from a small fall. Just bad luck. But all of these may be osteoporosis, sending quiet warnings. Here's the good news. If you recognize these early signs and take action, you can protect your independence. Doctors can confirm osteoporosis with a simple bone density scan, and the earlier it's caught, the more you can do to slow its progress. That might mean improving nutrition, adding light exercises, or making medical adjustments before a major fracture changes everything. So, if you've noticed your back curving, your height shrinking, or pain that lingers without a clear cause, don't brush it aside. These signals aren't just part of getting older. They're your body's way of saying, pay attention before it's too late. Now that we've seen how osteoporosis whispers its warnings, let's uncover who's most at risk. Because while symptoms are important, understanding your personal risk factors is what truly allows you to stay one step ahead. And that's exactly where we're heading next. Not everyone develops osteoporosis in the same way. Two people can be the same age, even live in the same neighborhood, yet one may suffer repeated fractures while the other stays active and strong. The difference often lies in risk factors, those hidden influences that quietly shape the health of our bones. Let's compare two friends, Mary and Susan, both 68 years old. Mary went through menopause in her early 50s and never thought much about her bones afterward. She has a family history. Her mother broke a hip at age 72, but Mary assumed it wouldn't affect her. She also spends little time outdoors, so her vitamin D levels are low. Susan, on the other hand, doesn't have osteoporosis in her family, and she walks daily, soaking up sunshine whenever she can. Though they're the same age, Mary faces a much higher risk simply because of her background and habits. Age itself is the single strongest risk factor. After 60, bones naturally lose density faster. Women are especially vulnerable because of the sudden drop in estrogen after menopause. Men are not immune. Either testosterone declines gradually, and by their 70s, men can experience the same fragility. Family history adds another layer. If a parent or sibling had osteoporosis or broke a bone from a minor fall, your chances are significantly higher. Genetics don't seal your fate, but they do tilt the balance. Lifestyle plays a powerful role too. Smoking doesn't just harm the lungs, it damages the very cells that build bone. Excess alcohol interferes with the body's ability to absorb calcium, leaving bones weaker. And then there's inactivity. Bones respond to movement. The way muscles do, they grow stronger when stressed. A sedentary lifestyle, Sitting most of the day tells your bones they don't need to stay dense. Over time, that message leads to brittleness. Certain medical conditions and medications also increase risk. People with rheumatoid arthritis, thyroid problems, or digestive disorders may struggle with weaker bones. Long-term use of steroids, often prescribed for chronic conditions, can accelerate bone loss too. Now here's the part that matters. Risk factors are not destiny. You can't change your age or family history, but you can take action on lifestyle choices. Stopping smoking, limiting alcohol, and adding daily movement can make a real difference. Even a simple 20-minute walk, light strength training, or balance exercises can help your bones respond by becoming stronger. Think back to Mary and Susan. Mary may have more risk factors, but if she decides today to improve her diet, spend more time outdoors, and stay active, she can still protect herself. Susan, meanwhile, can't afford to be complacent either. Healthy habits must continue to keep her advantage. Understanding your personal risk is like looking at a weather forecast. If you know a storm is coming, you grab an umbrella. If you know osteoporosis is a possibility, you can prepare before fractures disrupt your life. Now that we've explored the causes, symptoms, and risk factors, the next question is, what can you actually do about it? That's what we'll cover next. The steps you can take to strengthen your bones and lower your risk, starting today. If you're finding this breakdown helpful so far, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a quick comment below and let me know, have you or someone you love ever dealt with osteoporosis or a sudden fracture? Your stories not only help others feel less alone, they also guide us in choosing the topics that matter most to you. And while you're here, don't forget to tap that like button. It lets YouTube know this kind of health content is valuable and helps it reach more people who may need it. Finally, if you'd like clear, simple explanations about health after 60 wounds, make sure you subscribe to Senior Vic Health. Every week, we bring you practical advice you can actually use, always explained in plain language, without the jargon. So go ahead, comment, like, and subscribe. Together, we can build a stronger, healthier community. So far, we've looked at why osteoporosis develops, the subtle symptoms that often go unnoticed, and the risk factors that make some people more vulnerable. The natural next question is, what can you actually do about it? The good news is that while you can't turn back time, there are many steps you can take starting today that can strengthen your bones and protect your independence. Think of it not as one big solution, but as a stack of smaller actions that build on each other. The first piece of the stack is nutrition. Bones are living tissue, and like any living thing, they need fuel. Calcium is one of the key building blocks, and many people over 60 simply don't get enough. Dairy foods are a common source, but if you don't tolerate milk, there are plenty of alternatives. Leafy greens like kale, fortified plant milks, and even certain fish like sardines with soft, edible bones. Alongside calcium, vitamin D is crucial because it helps your body absorb that calcium. A little daily sunshine can boost vitamin D, though some people may need supplements, especially in winter or if they spend most of their time indoors. The second piece is movement. Bones respond to stress by becoming stronger, much like muscles do. Weight-bearing activities, walking, dancing, gentle hiking, even light strength training, send signals to your bones that they need to stay dense. You don't need a gym membership or heavy weights. Even body weight exercises at home, such as standing on tiptoe or rising slowly from a chair, can help. The third piece is lifestyle adjustments. Smoking and heavy drinking accelerate bone loss, but stopping them or even cutting back slows the damage. Maintaining a healthy body weight also matters, because being underweight increases fracture risk, while excess weight can stress joints. Balance exercises, like Tai Chi or simple one-leg stands, can reduce the chance of falls, which are the real trigger for many fractures. The fourth piece is medical awareness. If you're over 60, or especially if you have risk factors, ask your doctor about a bone density scan, often called a DEXA scan. It's painless, quick, and provides a snapshot of how strong your bones really are. With that information, you and your healthcare provider can make a plan, whether that means medication, supplements, or just targeted lifestyle changes. Think of this action plan as layers of protection. Each step, better nutrition, more movement, healthier habits. Medical checks add strength to your foundation. Alone, one step might feel small, but together, they create a shield against fractures and the loss of independence they can bring. So, instead of seeing osteoporosis as an inevitable part of aging, see it as a challenge you can meet with steady, practical steps. Because every walk you take, every healthy meal you choose, every adjustment you make is an investment in stronger bones and a stronger future. And speaking of strong beliefs, let's take a moment to separate fact from fiction, because there are many myths about osteoporosis that can lead people astray. That's what we'll tackle next. Before we wrap up, let's clear up a few common myths about osteoporosis. These misunderstandings often stop people from taking the right steps. The first myth is osteoporosis only affects women. It's true that women are at higher risk after menopause, but men are not immune. In fact, 1 in 5 men over 50 will experience an osteoporosis-related fracture. Ignoring this puts many men at risk without realizing it. The second myth, drinking milk alone will prevent osteoporosis. While milk is a good source of calcium, it's only one part of the puzzle. Bones also need vitamin D, protein, and regular activity. Think of it like building a house. You can't build with bricks alone. You also need cement, wood, and tools. The third myth, if I don't feel pain, my bones must be fine. Unfortunately, osteoporosis is usually painless until a fracture happens. Waiting for pain as a warning sign is like waiting for a roof to collapse before fixing a leak. Early screening is the only way to truly know. And one more, it's too late to do anything after 60 BC. This is absolutely false. Even in later years, changes in diet, exercise, and lifestyle can slow bone loss and reduce fracture risk. It's never too late to take action. By letting go of these myths, you open the door to prevention and better bone health. We've covered a lot together today. Osteoporosis may be called the silent disease, but now you know it doesn't have to stay silent in your life. You've learned what causes it, the subtle symptoms to watch for, and the risk factors that make some people more vulnerable. And most importantly, you've discovered the stack of solutions: nutrition, movement, lifestyle changes, and medical checks that can protect your bones and your independence. The truth is simple. It's never too late to take action. Every small step you make today is an investment in staying strong tomorrow. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. It helps others discover this important message. Subscribe to Senior Vic Health for more easy-to-follow guidance on living healthier after 60 show. And before you go, share your thoughts in the comments. What's one change you'll make this week to protect your bones?